You've been told your whole life that stepping out of your comfort zone will change everything. Sounds simple. Sounds obvious. But if that advice is so powerful, why are millions of people who've heard it still sitting in the same job, the same routine, the same life they've had for the last 10 years? Because nobody told you the part that actually matters. Ralph Waldo Emerson figured it out almost 200 years ago. He said, "The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Not the person who knows they need to change. The person who decides. And deciding looks nothing like what you think it does." In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you the 3 habits that completely separate a lazy mind from a disciplined one. Stay until habit number 3. It's the one nobody talks about, and it changes everything. Your comfort zone is not what you think. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Your comfort zone is not a place. It's not your bedroom. It's not your hometown. It's not your job. It's a feeling. Specifically, it's the feeling your brain produces when it decides something is safe enough to stop paying attention to. Your brain is not designed to make you successful. It's designed to keep you alive. And alive to your brain means familiar, predictable, controllable. So every time you approach the edge of what you know, your brain fires an alarm, anxiety, doubt, the sudden urgent feeling that now is not the right time. That feeling is not a warning, it's a habit. And like every habit, it can be broken. But breaking it requires one thing most people never do: a real decision. And here's what real decisions actually look like. The decision nobody talks about. There are 2 kinds of decisions: the decision you make in your head and the decision you make with your feet. Most people make the first kind constantly. I'm going to change. I'm going to start. I'm going to be different this time. And they mean it. Completely. In that moment, they mean every word. But meaning it and deciding it are 2 completely different things. A real decision has a cost. It closes a door behind you. It makes going back uncomfortable. When Emerson said you become the person you decide to be, he didn't mean the person who intends to change. He meant the person whose actions have already made the old version of them impossible to return to. That's the decision nobody talks about. Not the one you make in your head at midnight. The one you make at 6 a.m. when everything in you wants to stay exactly where you are. The identity shift. Here's the final habit. And this is the one that makes everything else permanent. You cannot out-discipline an identity you haven't changed. Let me say that again. You cannot out-discipline an identity you haven't changed. If you still see yourself as someone who struggles with consistency, you will find a way to be inconsistent, no matter how many systems you build. If you still see yourself as someone who isn't good with money, you will find a way to sabotage every financial decision you make. The comfort zone is not just a behavioral habit. It's a story you tell yourself about who you are. And the moment you change the story, the behavior follows. Not perfectly, not immediately, but inevitably. Start telling yourself a different story today, not the story of who you've been. You now have the 3 habits that actually separate a lazy mind from a disciplined one. Not surface-level advice, the real mechanics underneath it. But knowing this changes nothing. Deciding to apply it changes everything. And that decision, like Emerson said, starts right now. If this gave you something to think about, subscribe. Because every week we go deeper into the habits that actually move your life forward. And if you want to keep building that disciplined mind, this video right here is exactly where to go next.